Welcome, students, to another episode of Manhood Academy Podcasting. Okay, I've moved the podcasting topics thread into the lecture and film section, so I think that I'll leave it up there as a sticky. So if you want to add future podcasting topics for consideration, that's where you can post them right there, and you'll see what's coming up, what's going to be discussed in the upcoming podcasts. And I'm working from the bottom up right now because the bottom stuff is all the stuff in the past that has not yet been addressed, and we will cover that. I'm veering off right now to go to the 21 days no porn fap challenge. Last page, page 13, and there's
I almost broke on that today, actually.
Oh, you're so close, man, so close.
It was my first day. I wasn't even close.
First day. Okay, so, where are we? Okay, right above the last post is a post by Pillowfort, who drives me insane. Okay, now, I want to say, take me for example. Okay, I am a professional talker, aka I just practice, basically. Practice talking to people, professional socializer. So, unlike people who say don't try this at home, I recommend you do try it at home, which means I recommend you practice to get better. So, for a person like me who knows something like, I think Blue wants to join.
Yeah, I sent him an invitation.
All right. For a person like me that wants to socialize, or what was my point now? I'm somebody who knows how to socialize, and I want other people to learn how to socialize. So, for somebody like me who knows how to socialize, even I experience difficulty when dealing with feminist influenced women, which is basically women around the world. And when I'm referring to feminism, I'm not talking about, 1960s burning your bra type thing. I'm referring to the principle of feminism, which not a lot of people are understanding. When we're talking about the principle of feminism, we're basically talking about any time a woman is trying to gain authority over a man, is trying to take male authority and exercise it over a man. So basically, it's like the relationships you see today where women say, oh, we're equals, we're both in charge. That is the principle of feminism at work. So when I'm referring to feminism, I'm not referring to feminist politics. I'm referring to the principle behind those politics, which is just any time a woman is saying, I'm the man, I'm in charge, I want to be the one who is directing the relationship. That is the principle of feminism at work. So I think maybe even the label feminism is almost a misnomer at this point because so many people are thinking of so many other things like the political arm of feminism or, other things that are kind of peripheral to the issue. The real issue is that anytime I refer to feminism, I'm not talking about, some political issue. I'm referring to you in your relationship with another woman and she is trying to exercise authority over you. She is trying to be in charge. That's what I mean when I say the principle of feminism. So, all around the world today, you see women trying to be in charge of men, and it's causing all kinds of social problems in the relationship. And I, as a guy who is well-versed in social interaction, experience these problems. That's not to say I don't know how to get my expectations met, but these women are going to cause me problems because they've been around emasculated males for most of their life, so they have this entitlement mentality when I first encounter them. So I'm very familiar with that and the problems that guys experience as a result of these entitlement-minded women. So, on to Pillowfort's post. It says, he gave in, so he failed the no-fap challenge. Today it starts for me, day one. Okay, so reading this board has been an inspiration. This habit has to stop because blah, 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 not good. Why is masturbation strong? Okay. Why is porn and masturbation such a strong undertone of modern Western culture? It naturally falls into place right beside all the other dysfunctional values of modern pop culture, right alongside junk food, materialism, Hollywood, moral relativism, feminism, and individualism. So a lot of isms here. A whole parade of red flags flying at full mast. That alone is enough to confirm to me that porn and masturbation are detrimental to man's health. Next time I get tempted, okay, so the point is, he's constantly posting about these problems he's experiencing, which are largely stemming from a lack of practice, just an unwillingness to practice. How do I know this? Because I asked him directly. I said, look, have you signed up for a bro day? Signed up to lead a bro day? No. Then you're not practicing. You're not putting the required effort to get better. So from that point on, all your complaints to me are now whining. If you were putting in the effort, you were signing up to lead a bro day, you're posting your EM reports, if you're posting regularly in your expression post, and then on top of that, you're experiencing problems developing relationships with women, I can sympathize with you. I can empathize with you. I can understand that. I can even be motivated to get behind you and help you make progress, even though you're experiencing these problems, because I experience these problems too. But the difference is you're not doing anything about them. You're simply whining about them. And even I'm telling you how to address these problems, and your response is still to whine. That doesn't make me want to help you, because you're really not helping yourself. You're not doing what's necessary to help yourself. If you just say, hey, I have this problem, and oh, I see another student who has the same problem as me, we both can't get women, and let's commiserate together, you might find some camaraderie, a common thread in there with another student, but you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be miserable together. That's not going to accomplish anything. This academy is not here as kind of a loser's hangout just to say, oh, we all suck with women, we all suck with forming relationships with guys, so let's just be miserable together. Let's just hang out together. That is not the point of the academy. That is not why you're a student here. Your whole goal in being here is to not be a fucking loser when it comes to social interaction. You're supposed to learn how to socialize in a successful manner, in spite of all these problems out there. Now like I said, there's the external factors, the women who are going to be bitches, and I experienced this today. I'm going to tell you about my day today. And then there's you not doing what's required. You are an emasculated male, so you are in a position that is difficult. Even if you were like in a Latin American country where women are, more receptive to a man, just culturally speaking, not anything you're doing, but just they respect men more in general, and you fall into the man category, you happen to be a male, and they're talking to you, they just address you differently in a much more respectful, much more submissive manner, just because the culture has nothing to do with you. But if you're an emasculated male and you bring that emasculation with you to another country, even if this woman you're talking to seems nicer to you than an American woman, eventually your emasculation is going to affect her. She's going to take advantage of you, and it's going to be just like you're back in America all over again. This is what this guy doesn't realize. There's a difference between the external factors out there that are making your life miserable and you contributing to those external factors and making your life even more miserable. So, to put this in perspective, I went on a trip today. Not like a trip to someplace special, but I just wanted to go to the store. And normally I would just drive there. But it was such a nice day out, I decided I would ride my bike around to get there. And it took me a lot longer, but I just figured for whatever reason, I'd go along the most busiest city street route to get there. Normally I don't like going where there's cars because I don't like smelling gasoline when I'm riding my bike. And I don't like to be at busy places. I just like to kind of like ride through a countryside and see something peaceful when I'm riding along somewhere on an errand. But for whatever reason, I was just riding down the busiest section of street to get to where I was going to some store to pick up some stuff. And there was a lot of people along the way. So every 2 blocks or so, I would bump into a girl and I would talk to her. And I'd probably talked to maybe 20 girls today. And I probably got about 5 or 6 numbers and had some good interactions, had some okay interactions, had some just like almost business-like interactions with girls. Had girls say no, they were married, or, some had a boyfriend. And of course the ones that were, fine and said, yes, no problem. Let's see here. I'm opening up my phone real quick. I'm just going through who I talked to today. Okay, so there's this girl named Cindy. She works at a local restaurant, waitress. Was holding hands with her down the block, so that was a good interaction. She's asking questions. We're going back and forth, so decent interaction. Then there's this chick named Christine, who is she's kind of like a sarcastic bitch. I asked her what she's doing. She said she was going to a white supremacist rally. Just flipping comments like that. And eventually, got around to getting her number. Really cute girl. Who's this? Jenna. This is a chick that I bumped into early in the morning, actually, not on my way to my errand. This was like in a grocery store. Some bartender somewhere. Just a cute chick. Had a good interaction with her. We talked about it being awkward that we were meeting or she mentioned that it was awkward to meet a stranger in a store. And I just normalized that by enforcing my expectation. No, you're awkward. You're an awkward girl. It's okay. I'm going to teach you how to be more social, blah, blah, blah. Just handle it just like that. So enforcing my expectation. And then there was this girl named Tracy who was sitting at a bus stop. I'm guessing she's about 19 or 20, just kind of clueless. One of those, she's not, this would be an interaction where I need to put in a lot more work, and I need to, stimulate her more by talking about my experiences, etc. So I'd be doing most of the work, and it would take a much longer time, and I just didn't want to waste that much time because I was trying to get to this location at a certain time. So I just, fuck it, I'll just blah, blah, blah for about 5 minutes and then get her number. Then there's another girl, Paula, she is some Mexican chick. Her English was, or her accent was pretty thick. She understood English, but I just wanted to try, picking her up without speaking English. So I practiced some broken Spanish, and that was probably one of the better interactions. A lot of smiling, a little hand holding, worked out, got her number. Okay, the point of this is not to brag about how many girls' numbers I got, or even how many girls I talked to, the rejections, the reactions to it. My point is to talk about perspective. Okay, perspective is now. If I was a young kid and I got all these numbers, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna fuck 5 girls. I'm so happy. The world is my oyster. Right? I'd be so thrilled and overjoyed. Right now, I'm not even thinking about the numbers. I mean, they're the last thing in my mind right now. I'm thinking about 2 other things that I'm gonna do. Another girl I want to go see right now, and something else. So they're the last thing on my mind. And I'll tell you why they're the last thing on my mind. It's not because I'm a super cool guy. It's because I have a lot of experience getting numbers from girls. Now, if you've never got a number from a girl, you think, oh, this is the most amazing experience ever. This is better than a blowjob. Because it's like a validation to you. It's like saying, good job. You know what you're doing. You know how to pick up a girl. You're a guy now. Good job. So it's kind of an affirming praise to you that you're doing something right in your social interactions. But then it comes to the point in time when you actually need to call these girls and set up dates to meet them. And that's where the rubber meets the road. Well, actually before that, when you're talking to the girl, that is where the rubber meets the road. But I mean, in terms of a relationship where you actually go out with them and spend time with them and form a relationship, that's where the rubber meets the road. But I know from experience that even though, 2 of these interactions went really well, and 3 of them, or I would say 2 other ones went okay, and then one of them was just, it was okay. In spite of all that, I know that there is a good chance that maybe 1 out of the 5 I'll end up dating, or she'll even pick up the phone. Now, I did call one of the girls that I had the worst reaction with. I called her back, and she picked up the phone. We had a little conversation, etc. But again, just from experience, I'm speaking from experience that most of these girls will not even pick up the phone when I call them again or text them again. Some of them will pick up the phone and we'll try and make a date, but it just, for whatever reason, they just won't show up, or something will happen where it's not that I don't want to say that. Let me rephrase that, because if I make a date with somebody, there's enough investment that they're going to show up. So I actually wanted to talk about that. Some guys talk about getting stood up on a date. The mistake is they're thinking that a woman is making that decision like he's making his decision. Like he's making it from a point of view of he values his word. He met her on Monday. He's going to date her, or he's setting up a date for Friday, and he plans to meet her on Friday. So he's going to keep his word. Whereas she's making an emotional decision at the time on Monday, and she's all excited to talk to this new guy for, 5 or 10 minutes or an hour, however long these 2 strangers just met. They talk and meet. But by the time, Tuesday, even Wednesday, or, just a short amount of time, the next day rolls around, that emotion is gone from that girl's mind. So by the time Friday rolls around, you're just like a homeless guy with piss all over your shorts. That's how much you mean to her right now. So the mistake is guys will have a good interaction, plan a date for like 2 weeks or a week later, and they don't realize this girl goes back to thinking of you like a stranger again. So chances are she's going to flake. I mean, it's almost a guarantee she's going to flake. But if you're talking to her throughout the week, leading up till the point of Friday, then there's a good chance she's going to show up because you've made her comfortable. Okay, so that's just a little side point there. So what I'm talking about is not that I'm going to make a date and she's not going to show up. I'm talking about there's not going to be a date made. There's going to be an excuse. There's going to be something that's going to come up as a girl excuse, quote, quote, which is just a pretense to say, I'm just not comfortable. I think of you as a stranger again. So either they're not going to pick up the phone, not going to return the text message, or there's just going to be something to come up that'll prevent us from actually meeting up and having a date. For whatever reason. They could have a boyfriend. They could have given me the number and had a husband or boyfriend, and they just didn't want to be mean or seem mean, or they just they don't know how to say no to somebody, so they'll give you the number anyway, regardless. There's all kinds of excuses girls will use, and all kinds of reasons for them not picking up, not calling back, not going out on the date. So from experience, I know this. So I'm not going to invest my heart into this when I get these numbers, because it's just like if you go to a club, it's even worse in a nightclub or actually it's not as worse in a bar. You have a better shot in a bar than in a nightclub, but it's worse in nightclubs and bars because it's almost like a game for girls. It's almost just like part of the culture of a bar culture, or you're just going to get go out there, guys are going to ask for your number, you're going to give out your number, and you're just going to get attention. So this girl is getting all this attention. She's getting this emotional roller coaster ride. That's why she's going out and dressing up just to get that attention. But as for meeting for actual dates, that's a different story. It's not, I'm not to say that girls aren't looking for sex when they go out sometimes, or they're not looking to find a guy to fall into a relationship with, but that's not their mindset. It's almost like you have to lead them into that mindset. Like a girl will go out and think, oh, I just want to have a good time. I want to get attention from guys and feel special. But she's not thinking, oh, I want to go to this bar or this club and meet the man of my dreams, or meet a guy and fall in love and get into a relationship. That's not on her mind. She would like that in like a flippant, light way, but that's not usually how she's thinking about it. You actually have to get into a social interaction with her and change her mind for that to happen. So this is where good socialization comes in, where you change her expectation and give her your expectation. So instead of sitting back passively, the good thing that I'm doing is I'm saying, look, I want to date you. I want to get to know you. I want to meet you at this time or this day. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call you again. I like you. This is why I'm talking to you. So I'm going to express my reaction to her, and I'm going to lead her in my expectation, what I expect to happen. So now she's dropping her passive expectation and adopting my expectation. So that's in my favor. Whereas most guys, they'll talk to a girl and go, oh, there's a pretty girl over there. I'm going to go talk to her and see where it goes, see where it leads, which means I'm going to talk to her. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Hopefully it ends up with me fucking her. It's just like this total, fantasy life in their head that they just think that it's just going to happen like the movies. I'm going to talk to her. She's going to say something cute and funny. We're going to bump heads, and all of a sudden we're going to be fucking. It does not happen that way. Okay? If you are not leading it with your expectations, not only will she not be turned on by the fact of you're not leading, but also because you don't have an expectation, she has even less of an expectation than you. So as much as you're just hoping it magically happens, she's hoping that 10 times more than you, that she just doesn't know what's going to happen. So I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you're talking to a girl and you just pause and wait for something to happen. You don't know what to say. And she says, oh, okay, I think I got to go now. That is code for I'm feeling awkward because you're not leading this social interaction. So I just don't know what to do. And I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And now I have to leave. That's what she's saying.
Yep.
Conversely, if a girl says I have to go and you just ignore that and keep talking and keep leading her, you may change her mind because your expectation is being impressed upon her, and she just goes finally, okay, your expectation, I'm going to take it. You're exercising your authority. I'm attracted. I'm just going to forget about wanting to go and just talk to you, and now here's my number. So it can even turn around that way. But again, it depends on you. Now that we've just covered the basics of social interaction, now we're talking specifically about me. I know how to run a social interaction better than most guys. So I have an advantage in that regard. But still, because feminism, and again talking about the principle of feminism has affected women to the point where they don't value their word. If they say they're going to do something, they don't value that. They're making an emotional decision at this point. And also, how they view men in general affects how they're going to talk to me, how they're going to perceive me. Talking to a stranger in a European country is not as big a deal or is not as socially frowned upon as it is in America. She's thinking about the social aspect of this. How does it look? She's talking to a stranger, got picked up by a stranger. She'll feel, my friends will think I'm desperate. So there's all kinds of different social expectations that are affecting her, that are working against me in America than say a foreign, like if I talked to a foreigner in America or went to a foreign country, it wouldn't be a different social expectation. They would be much more likely to return my call or to end up in me dating her and get into a relationship. So there are definitely external factors. Feminism is definitely having a negative effect on my dating life, personally. And I know that happens with other guys. But again, there are things you can do on your end to increase your odds. And like I said, that is leading the interaction, knowing how to convey your reactions to things, knowing how to express yourself. Those things are the things that are going to work in your favor. So, yes, I empathize. I actually posted a response to Pillowfort because he fucking posts these things all the time about his complaints about what if the girl does this. It's just like Blue when he's talking about situational things and on the last podcast, and I kept telling Blue, you keep talking about situations. But the real issue isn't this particular situation. It's your lack of listening skills, your lack of practice, your lack of realizing that you are the problem in the social interaction, not this particular situation. That's the same with Pillowfort. He's experiencing the same problem. He's like, oh, this situation, this girl isn't doing this. If I just, date a girl in a foreign country, it'll all turn around, etc. So he's looking at it all from a situational point of view, just like a good Manhood Academy student, not knowing his head from his asshole. He's not realizing the problem is him. So that is what I didn't want, because I initially made a post that said, you're a professional whiner, but I knew other students were going to read that and think, oh, I don't want to also share my problems with girls because now Plum's going to call me a professional whiner. No, I meant that specifically for Pillafort's case because I don't mind you guys talking about your girl troubles or your problems with your social interactions, but I do mind you talking about it when you also refuse to listen to what I'm telling you specifically to do something to improve it. If you're trying to make an effort to do something to improve it, like leading a bro day or practicing with, forming relationships with your students at the academy, then if you're going to talk about your problems, I'm going to empathize with you because at least you're listening to me. You're respecting my words. But if you're not respecting what I'm telling you, then I don't want to hear you. You're just a whiner to me. You're not doing anything to actively solve the problem. It's just because you're just exacerbating the problem by adding whining on top of it now. Woe is me. That accomplishes nothing. So that's one of the things I wanted to address today. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir. Toreto.
So you mentioned that after the initial interaction, when you get a girl's number,
yeah.
Let's say a week goes by and you guys get on a date, she's going to forget all that. She's not going to be invested, right? Unless
okay.
you talk to her between then.
Right. And that's most unexperienced guys. They'll think, you've heard about the phone game where you don't call a chick for 3 days and blah, blah, blah. So they play it like they're playing the Stratego game in their head. But really the issue is just creating comfort. So they're worried about not appearing needy. They're worried about, if I call her too soon, I'll appear desperate. That's fucking bullshit. That's irrelevant. The desperation, the needy part is going to come in when you are adopting her expectations and sacrificing yours. That's where the needy part comes in. You talking to her like, I'll call a girl a minute after I talk to her. That's not an issue. The issue is now making her feel more comfortable with you so that she'll be willing to go on the date with a stranger that she just met. That is the real issue.
My question was, have you noticed the correlation between, let's say, the initial interaction and the responsiveness there? Once you actually call them, like, let's say you just get their number real quick and you call them, or you had a great first interaction.
Yeah, I've also noticed the correlation. The longer you spend with a girl initially, or the better the interaction is, I should say, the better her response to you, the better the correlation is that she'll, I don't want to say definitely because I've had great interactions. The girl just didn't call or didn't pick up the phone or never returned the text message. So that's also on the table. But more often than not, the longer you spend with her, again, this is all building up so that she's more comfortable with you and more willing to meet you again. But if, let's say this girl I met at a bus stop today, I just talked to her, hey, blah, 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 I think you're cute, blah, 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 one or two pleasantries, what are you doing, talk about this and that. I practice just leading a little bit, not practice, but I'm just leading the conversation a little bit, what I want, what I expect. So just to demonstrate that, hey, in a short time, because I know I have a short time here, so I have to make a little impression that I'm a guy that she's going to be attracted to because I'm not a passive guy waiting for this interaction to happen to me. I know what I want to happen in this interaction. If I can convey that quickly by just directing what I want, what I don't want, letting her know what I like and don't like, that's going to give her a totally different impression than a guy that just goes, hey, I think you're cute. So do you maybe want to go out with me sometime? The default answer to that is no. You're a stranger. I have no reason to want to go out with you. Because he's thinking from a guy point of view. Like, he sees you and he goes, you're a cute girl. And he's thinking, I wonder if she thinks I'm a cute guy. If she thinks I'm a cute guy, she's going to want to go out with me. That's why guys will go up and say, I think you're cute. Do you want to go out with me? Maybe. They're looking at it from the total wrong point of view. They're looking at it from their what they value when they see her.
They're throwing it back on the girl instead of leading.
It's not that they're just throwing it back on the girl. It's that they don't realize the girl doesn't value what they value. That's why guys post shirtless pics on their Facebook page, flexing. They're like, oh, if a girl sees me flexing and sees my guns, she's going to fucking want to date me. No, asshole. You don't know what's going on. Yeah. So the point is, it's not throwing it back on the girl. It's not realizing that the girl is not attracted to your looks initially. That's not the issue. Yeah, if you look like Brad Pitt, that'll help you out. That'll get your foot in the door. But that's not going to cause attraction. If you're a Brad Pitt guy and you open your mouth and you're like, so you want to go out? So what do you like to do? And you're just this passive guy, it's going to turn her off, even though you have great looks. So you got to understand, it's not about you going up and saying, hey, I like you. A girl can be flattered by you giving her attention. Like if I say, oh, you're really cute, a girl can be caught off guard and go, oh, she's thinking, oh, I feel so great because you just said that. A stranger complimented me. I want to make you feel good too. How can I make you feel good? Meet your expectation. So I go, oh, you look really cute. She's like, oh, thanks. So what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And we talk. And then after, 2 seconds, I say, let me have your number. Yeah, here's my number. She's all happy. She's happy to give me, her number. But most likely that's going to flake.
Yeah.
That's going to be a flake. Because when she leaves, all she has is the feeling of a stranger complimented me. Now she's going to go back and experience her stronger social expectation, which is society telling her don't date strangers. He could be a serial killer. He could be a rapist. You could end up dead. So many, she's thinking of all these bad things she heard on the news. He could be the Craigslist killer, etc. So all these super strong. And to add on top of that, she could be thinking about what her girlfriends will think. I just picked up a stranger at a bus stop. What? Right? So she has all these social expectations weighing against your, hey, I like you, you're pretty, give me your number. That's weighing against that. What do you think's going to win? The social expectations. They've been there much longer than you. They've been there most of her life growing up. So they are much more powerful in influencing whether or not she's going to meet up with you for a date or even answer her phone. So that's why it's crucial that when you're talking to a girl, especially a stranger who you just met 2 seconds ago, that you convey instantly that you could lead a conversation, that you are able to state your expectations and not bend to her expectations. And that you have definite likes and dislikes, demonstrating that, hey, I have authority. I am in charge. So just quickly, like if you want to go on a date, hey, I like ham sandwiches, but I hate mayo. Don't put a lot of mayo on there. I fucking hate mayo. Just extra mustard. That's saying, hey, I have an expectation. Don't violate it. Just a quick way to demonstrate that. So the longer you have, you don't want to rely on these stupid little tricks. These are little tricks I know I can do in a compressed time format if I only have like 5 minutes and I'm talking to a Starbucks counter girl and I'm making an order and I know she only is going to make my change in about 2 minutes and I got 2 minutes to operate. That's a professional trick. That is not something you want to adopt as a student. As a student, you want to learn how to have a normal interaction, not to use stupid little tricks like that. So you want to learn how to convey your interest by, maintaining your eye contact, and you want to learn how to enforce your expectations and even to let her know you have expectations, because you do have expectations. It's not like this is anything special I'm teaching you. It's this, the only difference is I'm teaching you to voice your expectations, not to have them. You have expectations. Number one, you just don't realize what they are. And number two, you just don't know how to enforce them or express them. So that's what this academy is all about, getting you to enforce, express, and realize what your expectations are. So a lot of guys will say, I don't even know. I just talked to girls for my first day and I don't know what I want. Well, in a sense, you do know what you want, but you've never taken the time to think about it, to express it, to voice it, and to enforce it. Just like you talk to Boggles. I don't know what I want with a girl. Well, in a sense, we know, we don't even have to ask him. We know he wants to fuck a girl. We know he wants a relationship with a girl. We know he wants to snuggle up with a girl in the winter. So, in a general way, we know what he wants. But he hasn't yet specifically examined that to the point where now he can convey it to somebody and say, hey, strange person, I want to date you. I like you. I like your eyes. I like your hair. You probably smell good. I want to snuggle up with you at night. I want to do this and that with you. I want to protect you, etc. So he hasn't yet learned how to voice those expectations because he hasn't even examined his own expectations. That's what we're getting you to do. Not to take the shortcuts.
Learn the hard way, as you've said many times.
Yes. Because if you don't learn that, you're going to be a guy who just ends up in a situation like, oh, here's a hot girl sitting next to me on the bus. What should I do? I should talk to her and do this and that. And then you're like, oh, it didn't work. What happened? I'm a loser. I feel bad.
Buy her a drink, bro. Always works.
Buy her a drink, yeah. Because you don't understand what's going on there in the social interaction. What'd you say, Toretto?
I said flowers, you fool.
I thought chocolate was better. Flowers.
He was like, drinks. No, flowers. No, a ring. You idiot. You always get a ring on the first date. And then, what else was I going to say about that? So you get in that situation and you can, I know what I wanted to say. I don't want to emphasize what I'm doing, which is unnatural. It's not natural for a normal social interaction, which is for me to ride down the street, bump into 20 girls, and get 5 of their numbers. That's not natural. It's not natural to be talking to strangers. What you guys need to concentrate on is girls that'll enter into your social circle by association with another friend or through work or through whatever means where you see them on a regular basis or more than just once, more than just a chance meeting. Yes, to some degree it's a problem because you've isolated yourselves with your social skills, with your poor social skills. So you're at bars and clubs because there's nothing else, like a lot of guys where you just don't have a lot of friends or a lot of social connections. But as you learn to socialize, you should start socializing more with guys first and developing relationships with guys so you'll see on a repeated basis. And through them, you'll get invited to parties, etc. And then you'll start meeting more girls through that way. And then you'll have more of an opportunity to talk to a girl over and over. Because a natural, normal way to meet a girl is through an association. Like, here's a friend of mine I know, or here's my sister or my cousin, or so-and-so knows somebody through work. And you repeatedly talk to them because you're going to repeatedly have an opportunity to demonstrate your social skills, to demonstrate you know how to lead an interaction, to demonstrate that you're a functional guy who's attractive over a long period of time where a girl will naturally just fall in love with you. Like if you are just working with a girl and just not trying to, not trying to just go on the first day you meet her at work, hey, I want to fuck you, but you're just demonstrating that you're a guy, having a conversation with her at work. Doesn't even necessarily have to be sexual in nature, but just demonstrating that you know how to lead a conversation and demonstrate you have expectations. After working with you for like a month or 3 months, she'll fall in love with you. That is a natural consequence of you acting like a guy, of you acting like a functional man. It is not something special that should happen only to instructors or only to Brad Pitt. This happens to everybody. So it should be happening to you in this type of natural setting. So that's the emphasis, not just, hey, there's a stranger, I have 5 minutes, go. It's Mission Impossible. No. That is not a natural thing. If it happens and there's an opportunity, you're at a party, you just see a hot girl at a party and all of a sudden you got to talk to her. Okay, great. Practice your social skills, but don't rely on it. Don't make it a pressured expectation on yourself where I'm going to a bar, I have an hour to talk to 10 girls and hopefully one of them is going to fuck me. If you do that to yourself, you're going to make your life miserable. That answer your question?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We got time to cover one more topic. So let's go to lecture and film, podcasting topics, bottom, cover Wolf's post to High School 101. Okay, so this is the bottom post
you
here.
Did that one, I think.
We did?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we did that last night.
I thought we couldn't find that in his thing. Am I hallucinating? Did we cover something? What did Wolf say?
Something about, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you don't know. Hey, High School 101. You didn't get my post. Let me take another stab at it. Having something to say. Like most of the students here, I've read both the ebook and the forum. I'm already very familiar with Plum's ideas. This is one of the guys that actually showed up to one of our guest classes a long time ago. When someone merely quotes or paraphrases Plum, I don't find that he is adding anything to the discussion. And it's not like, I actually find that they do add something to the discussion. For instance, High School 101 notoriously posts sections of the ebook and makes his own commentary on them, and I just fucking love those posts. He expresses another aspect of what I'm talking about, or he opens up another degree. This is what I'm talking about, splitting the atom. When I was referring to splitting the atom in the last podcast, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like taking something that we've all talked about, like a food or a game of interest or a hobby or an activity, and just expanding on that. There's so many ways you can expand on it, so many ways to cover a different facet of that same topic. This is what it means to convey your reaction in a fine-tuned way where people can enter into the most specific degree of your interaction or the most specific degree of your reaction or your experience to something. I'm saying that backwards. Your reaction to something or your experience. And they can go, oh, this is what it's like being you. That is attractive. That creates an orderly social interaction. Okay, so he says he doesn't like that. He doesn't like orderly social interactions. If you're at Manhood Academy for a while, you can watch Plum's ideas and methods evolve as he goes. That's a bad phrasing. I don't know what he's trying to say, or I don't know if he just misunderstands what's going on. It's not that I'm trying to teach you newer methods or newer ideas. These are the same.
Refining your description.
Yes, refining the description of the principle that I'm talking about, or clarifying it. In some cases, we've actually clarified a mistake we made. Like we used to talk about comfort with vulnerability, which was just a mistake. It was just this concept hadn't been refined yet. So I kind of knew the gist of what I was saying, but it wasn't correct. So
you're basically moving further towards order.
Yes,
is that the right way?
I'm dusting off the principle to make it more clear, more evident. Versus, the way he's phrasing it sounds like there's this method of doing things. Now I'm just doing it a totally different way.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm doing. So it sounds like there's just confusion on both sides on either side with the way he's stating it. I would venture to say that Plum digs it when students offer criticism or their own ideas, as he can learn from us just as we learn from him. Mostly it's you learning from me. This is not to say that you guys aren't a valuable part of my learning process. I should say, I'm going to take that back. You guys do teach me things in that the experience of things. You clarify a point for me. Like
we validate the principles.
Yes,
for
you validate the principles. Like I can just point to, see this person having this experience, that validates the thing I'm teaching. So
like this academy is basically the epitome of the ebook because it covers authority. It's basically just a real interaction.
you guys are learning. Yeah, you guys are having real interactions. This is real relationships you're building. Like right now, we're talking about, who told me? Jar. He said, Professor, I hope I'm giving you enough incentive so that you'll want to form a relationship with me, right?
No, try that with the girl.
Yes. I hope I'm giving you the proper incentive so that you'll want to have sexual intercourse with me later. So this is, here you're learning how to have a normal social interaction, and it's not by stating ebook terms. Ebook terms are to clarify what's going on, but they're not for you to use in everyday conversation. That's why we refine the ebook terms to make them more conversational so that you're not sounding like a fucking nerd. We had invalidation and all these different terms that are just
frame control, bro.
Frame control, exactly. When we're trying to make it simple, clear, so it's understandable. Even like terms like feminism, I don't even like that term. I want to whittle it down to its essential component because people are always mistaking it with, a political movement. I'm speaking about bra burning or something. But there's
speaking of defining terms. Actually, no. Continue with your point. I'll ask this later.
Okay, there's two things. On one hand, a lot of times, terms get adulterated. They get perverted or polluted with contemporary culture, so you have to redefine the term for people. And then there's also the matter of the term is maybe the wrong term. Maybe people have been using it so long, it's just natural for you to use it too, but it doesn't specifically cover what you're trying to express. So there's two problems here. There's the pollution of a term, a good term, and then there's also the misuse of common terms. So it's just a constant whittling process to get to the best term, the best usage of that term, and the best meaning definition of that term. That's what we're trying to do here.
So basically, you're just refining your methods, to put it simply.
Not refining my methods.
Not refining your methods.
Refining the principle.
Refining the message.
It's like we're all talking about gravity, but we all talk about it. Some of us talk about it with street slang. Some of us talk about it in roundabout terms. And some of us are being super technical about it, and so it's hard to convey it to the common man.
So we're trying to market the principles to everybody.
Yes, we're trying to find the most user-friendly terms. We're trying to make it into the Apple computer.
All right.
The Apple computer of social interaction, where it's not totally retarded, but it's simple enough that a PC user could all of a sudden adapt to it.
That makes sense.
Okay. So if you don't have an opinion of your own, that's okay, but don't throw Plum's quotes at me. You sound like a fundamentalist quoting the Quran. Don't listen to Wolf. He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. Especially, don't listen to students who don't post. Because they haven't had any opportunity to be corrected. Like, Wolf will post once in a blue moon, so what he says is largely irrelevant to me. I have no working relationship with Wolf. Even though he may be more socially competent than High School 101, I know High School 101 from his many posts, so I feel closer to High School 101 than I do to Wolf. So I'm going to completely discount what Wolf says. And also, I'm going to err on the side of High School 101 versus Wolf because, again, that relationship that is there. Which, if Wolf understand the point of the ebook, he would realize that the point is the relationships forming, not your understanding of the terms. You have a tendency to be condescending. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person, but here on the forum you strike me as having this character flaw. Yes, I would say High School 101 is particularly condescending to the other fellow Indian, Boggles. He always writes in his posts, like, Boggles is so annoying to me, but when I learn how to manage my expectations, then Boggles is less annoying, and I have fixed him. It sounds like he's talking about Boggles like he's a pet chihuahua or something,
Yeah.
But I want to say something about that, but I partly think it's just that he doesn't realize that he's speaking about Boggles in that way. Because he eventually comes around and talks about him having the same problem, so I'm kind of giving him a pass on that, but I can see how Boggles would be offended if he's, if somebody talked about, I'm interacting with Plum and Plum's an asshole, but I'm fixing Plum by, managing my expectations. So Plum is now, he's now a better person after I left him. So this is going to take some practice talking to people, offending them, getting correction from them, or getting some feedback from them, and then realizing what affects people a certain way, how you speak to them affects them this way, etc. For instance, I could say, hey, I was going to the store and it was fucking raining outside. I hate rain. Rain is a fucking asshole. And I could not be talking about you personally. I'm just talking about the rain. But the way
Sounds like me.
Yeah, but the way I'm expressing that thing is a turnoff to a lot of people because it sounds like I'm an angry, violent person. I'm about to strike them. But if I don't get any feedback from people, I won't realize that. Because I don't feel personally like I'm attacking them. I'm not personally attacking them. I'm talking about the rain that I hate. I have nothing against that person. I may even like that person. But because I don't have any feedback from them, I'm not realizing what the problem is. It's me and my the way my attitude I'm bringing to the conversation, or what I'm saying. Do I need to say that fucking weather? I hate that cocksucker weather. Do I even need to say that? Is that relevant? I mean, with maybe my friends I could say that, but with strangers I just met, they might be a little more tender. Their ears might be a little more tender. Like Torero, you might be speaking to Torero.
I think I know why I have problems now, because I actually talk like that all the time.
Yes.
With people.
One of the things I noticed, like in the chat room, I'll say something and I'll say, look, when we were talking to the section, that one guy who was a scientist.
Oh yeah, lab coat god.
Yeah, lab coat god, and he's just basically a fucking retard. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But to hear you say, yeah, you're a fucking retard and you don't know what we're talking about. When you say that, it's like a collective. Like you have your arm around Plum and you're going, hey, I'm buddies with instructor. I am a co-instructor. You're an idiot. I'm not an idiot. That's what you're implying. To me, that makes me cringe to see that. Because number one, you're a student and half the time you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just talking out of your ass. And number two, it's almost like you're representing me, saying, well, you are representing me because I'm teaching you these things. And so I'm going, oh, fuck, that I sound like that. That makes me pause because I'm teaching you to sound that way. And so on one hand, I want to correct you, but on the other hand, I realize part of the problem is me. I need to be the one corrected. It makes me examine me. It makes me go, oh, when I'm speaking, I need to be aware of what I'm saying to the students because it's rubbing off on the students. And I don't want them to turn out a certain way. So I can't always just go, even though I feel like this guy's a fucking retard, I feel like just telling him that. I actually need to be more explicit. I can't just say, you fucking idiot, you're fucking more, blah, blah, blah. Because now it just sounds like I'm foaming at the mouth. It just sounds like I'm a crazy guy. Or just an angry, crazy guy. Violent, angry, crazy guy. So that's how it's coming across.
I was wondering why you weren't correcting me, because I thought I was out of line myself, but you didn't say anything, so I was like, okay, I'll just keep going.
Yeah, so I wanted to say something, but it's like, it really reflected on me and made me think, that's how I sound to a lot of the students, and that's how I'm coming across. So I need to change the way I'm interacting with the students. That teaches me.
So, like, in a way, this is Blue, by the way.
Yeah,
in a way, you have to develop a certain type of sensitivity.
Yes, you do. When you talk to people, you realize a lot, like, for instance, girls, you'll realize you can't just say, fuck that. Well, you can say it, but you realize you're going to affect that girl more than this guy you're talking to. So for her sake, I'm not saying you're going to bend your expectation and not talk about something because a girl is too sensitive. It might be the case where you need to bring her into an experience she's uncomfortable just because she's a nerd. She's a girl. She has no experience. Like when girls say, ooh, that's gross, a blowjob, ooh, right? She may just be, just got out of high school and now she's in college and now she's just fresh into a relationship and she has no experience, no sexual experience, right? Boys still have cooties to her. So that's introducing her and to a world she's not familiar with, right? Guys are into sex. Guys like sex. When she gets turned on by you, she will be into sex too because she's going to reflect or she's going to react to you. She's going to be a reflection of your attitude of how you run the relationship. That's how she's going to change according to the rules you dictate. But you also have to realize girls, again, are like children. They're not that as stable as you emotionally. So if you say something, they might be more sensitive to that and more apt to be hurt feelings and crying, etc. So when you start talking to girls, you'll start realizing it's much easier to affect them.
Okay. You just brought up something, emotional instability.
Yes.
Now, reading my post, you've seen how emotional unstable I become.
Yes, you're like a chick.
That me, a man, is emotional unstable. Would you be saying that a woman is even more emotionally unstable?
Yes, as unstable as you are, women are like 10 times more unstable.
Okay.
It's just that we apply the woman label to them and say, oh, she's just acting like a woman. So it's kind of more excused. It's more culturally okay for her to be emotional than it is for you to be emotional.
More commonplace.
Yes, it's more acceptable for her to fly off the handle than for you to fly off the handle. That's why it's more noticeable when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be the guy settling her emotions, not the guy reacting just like her. Because really, she's going to be the emotionally unstable one, so you're going to have to be the stability. That's going to attract her in the relationship. But if you're the guy going, oh, I don't know what to do. What should we do? That's going to make her even more neurotic. Your relationship's going to be even more chaotic. That's going to be unattractive. Make sense?
Right. I think it's just because the flood of emotions that I have been feeling.
Yes.
It makes me wonder if I'm that different from a girl. Like I know, like we call each other bitches.
You're not that different from a girl in terms of like emotionally, how you're troubled by your emotions, because you haven't had a lot of practice training your emotions, training yourself to do something in spite of your emotions.
Okay.
You don't have training right now, but I'm reasoning with you right now. That shows that you're not a girl. If we're having this conversation, you're a girl, you would be so in denial, it'd be hard to even have this conversation. We wouldn't be able to address your shortcomings because you're so emotionally insecure. You would probably be acting like a super tough guy. You'd be acting like Mad Max. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not, like if a girl is like a shy social nerd and I'll say, oh, you're a shy nerd. I used to say, oh, you're a super shy dork. Huh? No, I'm not a dork. You are. No, I'm not. You are. It's just like talking to a little kid in the playground. They're like overcompensating. So girls will say like, they won't say anything for 2 minutes, and it's just, I know they're just nervous, and they'll say, oh, you're a little shy, nervous, and they'll instantly say, no, I'm not shy. No, I'm not nervous. And they'll give like a sarcastic laugh like, no, I'm not nervous. Implying, no, you are. I'm super cool. No, that's not it. No, I'm not nervous. Right? Just putting up a front, basically.
So I guess to like reiterate, what would differentiate me, other than my penis, from a woman is that I would have a capacity.
Yes, you have the capacity. The fact is right now, your abilities are limited because you've been raised like a bitch. So you don't have the training of a guy. But you have the capacity. You having this conversation with me right now demonstrates you have the capacity. But you don't have the training, so you don't have the ability. You're like a battery that is not yet put into a vibrator to work.
A vibrator.
Okay, cool. Let's see. There is a difference between being shy and being quiet. Oh, wait, condescending, displaying a patronizing, superior attitude. Okay, cover that. There is a difference between being shy and being quiet. It's important to draw a distinction between these two terms. Thank you. If a guy is shy, then it would be a good idea for him to take advantage of the opportunities here at Manhood Academy. Forum, chat, room, Skype calls, so implying he's not shy? I don't know. To practice and get over it. And a fellow student really is a bro if he helps draw a shy student out. A guy who's quiet is another story. It's been my life experience that there is a range of temperaments, with some people being more outgoing, chatty, and others being more inward, quiet, and most people lie somewhere. Okay, so most people lie somewhere in between these two extremes. My thoughts on the quiet talkative scale are these. One isn't better than the other. They each have advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so this is just another clueless guy talking about, his sitcom experience of socializing. Some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, and it all works out in the end. Okay, look. Quiet people are generally quiet because they have poor training. There are a lot of people that start out quiet, but if you talk to them for a long enough time, you realize they're thinking, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could be more expressive. Why aren't they saying, I wish I could be more introverted and quiet like me? Who says that? I wish I could have less social interaction. I wish I could talk less in groups. I wish I could play more video games by myself. No, asshole. Lately, I've been calling people assholes on the podcast. I want to let you know that's a general asshole. When I say no asshole, I'm saying no collectively.
It's always collectively.
There's a collective.
Everything.
Everything's collective here. We're all one big Borg here.
Right.
Because you gotta understand, social interaction, again, is a team sport. I guess that means I'm saying no asshole to myself too, because just like that
instructor, you're the one in charge of us?
Yes, I'm the one in charge of you, so I'm the asshole teaching you.
You're the brood mother of the assholes. Yes,
these bad habits. So, no asshole, it's not just that you're a quiet guy. Yes, there is something to be said for, being a man of meaningful words, meaning you're not just babbling like a chick endlessly. Like, I talk a lot that maybe like 50% of it doesn't need to be said. I just babble sometimes. But on the other hand, I'm very expressive. So I'm fine. You get a fine-tuned experience of me. I would say that most people from these podcasts, if they listen to these podcasts, they would know more about what I'm like and what I'm like to deal with than they would know about any other student here. Because I'm more expressive. I'm willing to share my reactions more than the other students here. So you have a more fine-tuned picture of me. But everybody wants to do this. Why do you think people have relationships? What do they do in those relationships? They're busy sharing themselves. All I'm simply doing is cutting that time that it takes to get to know me. Instead of it taking 10 years, it's now taking 10 minutes. I'm volunteering information. I'm volunteering my reactions. I'm becoming a movie experience to you guys, instead of it, like most guys just think, we just get together and spontaneously our lives will just come out. Well, if you're a quiet guy and that other person's a quiet guy, it's just like, people always say, so you never know a person. I've known this guy for 10 years and I never really knew him. Well, because your idea of social competence is so distorted, is so skewed. Your idea of knowing somebody is knowing their favorite color and knowing what they like to drink for lunch. That's your idea of knowing somebody. Or knowing how many brothers and sisters they have. And knowing they like to greet you. Hey, how you doing, neighbor? Howdily do? Howdily ho. You're like, you have Jeffrey Dahmer next door and say, oh, I knew him. He was such a nice man. Well, how do you know that? Well, because every morning he said, hi, how you doing? Great weather we're having. It's a skippy fine day we're having. And meanwhile, he's got hookers in his basement, right? So what do you know about that person? What do you know about their experience, how they react to things? That is where you find out about a person, not in just what they share, about the weather, or they just exchange common pleasantries. I'm fine today. How are you? Oh, great. How are your children? Right?
Yeah.
Just knowing information about somebody is not enough. You need to know how they react to things. You want to know the fine-tuned,
their overall temperament.
Yes, their attitudes towards things, their, how they think about things, how they view things. Everybody wants to know this about everybody else. There's no such thing as this. Get out of this fucking idea of extroverted and introverted. It's just as bad as alpha and beta. The alpha males and the beta males. It's like the fucking stupidest thing.
Or the omega males, like
The
that
omega
science
males.
showed us.
Look, you got to realize, you got to look at it like this. We're all in one body. Torero's a foot, stinky little foot. Death by porn, you're a calf muscle, and Blue, you're the vagina. No, you're the thigh. You're the thigh muscle. Okay, and I'm a finger over here, right? So we're all connected. It's not that there's an introvert and an extrovert here. It's that all our relationships will affect each other. It's just like this. Like if I'm talking to Blue and he's my buddy, and Death by Porn is talking to Taro and he's his buddy, and you guys go off and do your thing, and we go off and do our thing, and we're extroverts, and you guys are introverts. You guys play video games, and we're out socializing at clubs, and never the twain shall meet. No, our lives, our friendship will affect your lives and your friendship. It is a collective. We're in a social community. The way I handle business will eventually ripple down and affect you, and vice versa. So, like I said, I'm fine socially walking down the street, but I encounter bitches. Why am I encountering these bitches?
Because of feminism.
No. Why am I encountering these bitches, Torero?
Because they don't know any better?
No. Blue, why am I encountering these bitches?
Because they haven't had anyone.
No,
yet.
because you're such a puss. I'm encountering bitches because Blue is such a pussy. Do you understand that? So what do I need to do to solve the problem? I need to get better at. Do I need to get better at social interaction?
Yes.
No.
You just teach them how to get better at social interaction.
Yes, I'm fine. I can socialize just fine. The problem isn't me. The problem is Blue. But
So
guess
now we
what?
understand the point of the academy.
But guess what? Blue is causing me problems. Do you understand that? Even though he doesn't know how to socialize, I know how to socialize. Blue is still causing me problems. How? Indirectly. His emasculated attitude is causing women to act like bitches, and now I encounter bitches. But guess what? You know how it'd affect Blue? If it was just me, Blue, and another girl in the society, it's just a society of 3 people, and I was me, and I affected this girl, guess what? How she interacted with Blue would change, because I would affect Blue. And if she hung out with Blue for half of her life and then encountered me, she'd be a bitch, because Blue affected her, and now Blue would be affecting me. So all our relationships are intertwined. They affect each other. It doesn't matter how small the ripple is. Eventually, it's going to be a collective ripple, and it's going to affect you like a torrent, like a tsunami. So it's imperative that I train you, not just for your sake, but for my sake, because you guys are fucking up my life. You're fucking up my social interactions. When I talk to a bitch, it's because of you guys at the academy. But conversely, when you guys learn social interaction, you also affect my life. My life gets better. I enjoy talking to you. For instance, I always go back to Boggles. Boggles is a total asshole. Hated talking to Boggles in the beginning. But now Boggles is a fun guy to talk to. He's enjoyable. He stimulates me. He causes pleasure to me. I have a satisfying relation. Well, in some sense, I have a satisfying relationship with him. But unless I had trained him, that wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have affected my life that way. But now he is able to have that effect on me because he is trained. So do you see that necessity? The training isn't just an option; it's a necessity. What you learn here at Manhood Academy, now it becomes a necessity for you to teach it to everybody around you. And it's not just that you will be teaching it; it's that your attitude and the way you interact with people is the teaching. When I talk to you guys, and I'm not giving a quote official Manhood Academy lecture. Here's a social interaction situation. Here's how to solve it. Guess what's happening? What is happening, Torero? When I'm talking to you guys, we're just hanging out at Chili's. What's happening?
That's training in itself, isn't it?
Yes, I'm teaching you. Whenever you're talking, whenever you're having a social interaction, somebody's being taught. Either you're being taught by society, some stupid social expectation, which yes, you guys are taught by society right now, or I'm teaching you and you're learning how to affect society. One or the other is always happening. There's no such thing as a non-teaching moment in social interaction. Every conversation you have with your mom, your teacher, your employer, etc., is a moment where somebody is being trained. So you need to realize if that's happening, then I need to be the trainer because everybody else is teaching me stupid shit that is not meeting my needs. I need to be the one training them. So when we go out, guess what happens? If I'm hanging out with you guys, I'm not going to just sit back passively and go, oh, I hope we have fun. Because I realize if I do that, I'm not going to have fun. You guys are going to ruin my night. So I need to take action to offset your incompetence. I need to train you so that I have a good night because then by training you over and over and over again, you guys will actually make my night more fun. I'll want to hang out with you. Just like Dr. Ladice. When I hang out with Dice, I have fun because now he's trained. Before, if I hung out with him when I first met him, I'd be, fuck, this guy's a passive little bitch. It's no fun hanging out with him. But now he's like his own person. He's got a girlfriend. It's fun to hang out with him now. So it's essential that you learn how to be trained because now you will need to train other people. You don't realize that right now, but the more you learn social interaction, the more you realize training is always going on. It's just that we put an official name on it. We call it Manhood Academy. We can call it really anything, but this is the formal recognition of training is going on, and here's how to do it. That's the only difference. Other people don't realize they're being trained right now, but we're officially saying this is training, and this is the right way to do it, and here's how to do it. That's the only difference.
And Plum, when we're referring to bitch behavior,
yes,
it's basically like bitch behavior is like the absence of feminine behavior. So if a woman's acting like a bitch, she's acting like a man, right?
Yes, she's just trying to be in charge. She's trying to replace your function. She's trying to be you, what you should be doing. Like when you see a bitch, that's really what you should be doing. When she's saying like, don't do that, you don't talk to me that way, you don't do that, that's really what you should be doing. If you see a bitch, you should be learning from her. Oh, that's how to be a man.
I've actually had that experience.
You should have that experience. When you go out, those girls should be teaching you exactly how to be a guy. When they go, no, you don't say that to me. No, you don't talk to me like that. Should be your attitude.
Right. Okay.
A bitch is your best trainer for becoming a man. If you see a bona fide bitch, you're like, okay, that's a guy. That's how I should really be acting. Not like, what should we do? She go, I don't want to go here. I want to go here. Well, that's what you should be saying. You should be saying, look, I don't want to go here. I want to go here, and you're going along, whether you like it or not.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, like in the ebook, you say we're mirror images of each other, or like opposites.
Not you're the initiator. She's a reactor. Yeah. If you're a guy, she's gonna be a girl. If you're a girl, she's gonna be a guy.
And I think like through time and what we've been taught through our mothers and sisters is there's a middle ground to where men and women can, I guess be equal. Like, oh, okay, well,
a middle ground.
Yeah, like a middle ground, like
a neutral.
Like
Neutral.
Neutral, yeah. Neutral.
Yeah, there's no such thing as neutral.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And I think that's what we need to ingrain in our brains that there is no such thing as
the
neutral.
more you become adept at social interaction, the more you practice, because you're not going to have a realization without practice. The more you practice, the more you'll realize, there are definite roles that I need to be playing so that she will be playing her role. There are definite duties I have to be doing so that she will fulfill her duty. If she is going to be submissive, I need to be dominant. If she is going to be dominant, that means I am fucking up and being submissive. There is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. There's not a neutral way to do it. There's not an optional way to do it.
Is a cunt just a higher degree of a bitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know earlier.
They're basically the same thing to me. I use them kind of flippantly, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just if I feel it. Yeah, it's just if she's really like, I'm like, fuck her, I'm like, that's a cunt.
Yeah. Hillary Clinton.
There you go. Good example. Anything else? Last words, last parting words. We went 25 minutes over.
25, yeah.
Blue?
No, I'm good. I'm good, yeah. Oh, I have a question. I guess it's like a question. Now, yes. You're very articulate, and we all like to hear from you, and it's an enjoyable experience, and firsthand we get to like feel how you're meeting our needs. Were you always like an articulate person?
No. Was I always the alpha male? Were you always a beta? Is that what you're asking me?
At first there was just one.
Yeah, and then we had babies, and then you're in a different gene pool than me. That's why I've always been this way. I've been super, and you haven't.
The Wolfpack grew.
The Wolfpack extended, and then my dominance, and then I founded Manhood Academy. Have you been fucking paying attention to anything that's been said?
I don't know. I think
You think I'm wearing a cape right now?
it's just like, I think sometimes I feel.
You know why you think that? You know why it's such a chasm? Because you don't practice. How many bro days have you led?
None.
Have you signed up for a bro day?
Not yet.
Not yet. There's your answer. You're exactly like you. That's why you remind me of Pillow Fort so much. You are a professional whiner. I tell you, here's a practical way to do it. Sign up for a bro day. Learn how to run a relationship. Learn how to direct people. And do you do it? No. And then you come around and complain. You're special. You're alpha male. You have super ability. I don't know how to do it. Were you always this special? Are you kidding me? This is why I say you're hard of hearing. You don't hear the answer. I already gave you the answer like 2,000 times. You're like Bogler. I have to repeat the answer 2,000 times, and then like the 2,001st time you're going to go, oh, that sounds new. I'm going to try that. And you're like, oh, Plum, guess what worked? No, asshole. You started working. That's the only difference. See, that's why we need the pain. It would be so much faster if I could just hit you right now in the nuts, because the pain would be like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Whereas right now I could just go, you're a bad guy. That's bad. Don't do that. How painful is that? Not really. And it's evident because your behavior's not changing. You're just slowly, I have to repeat that again. Next week you're going to ask me, so Plum, when did you become the alpha male? How did you get so cool?
When he killed Scar.
Yeah, when you killed Scar. Were you always this cool? Were you always like Torero? Were you always that awesome? Okay. It'll sink in one day, Blue. Just keep practicing. One day you'll start practicing, and then it'll sink in. Practice, practice, practice. Torero, anything last words?
No.
Last punchlines?
I'm dry right now.
You're dry. You're on the wagon with your punchlines too?
Yep. I'm just trying to stay sober, you know.
You don't have 3 punchlines in a row by your credit card on the table with a rolled up dollar bill next to them?
No, I gotta start a Rolodex.
Last words, DBP. I'm really dragging this out, aren't I?
I am the number 1 alpha male out of all you bitches.
Thank you. On that note, we're going to end. Thank you. We still got a lot of topics to go, so I'll try to hit them either today or tomorrow. Okay, guys. Take care. Welcome, once again, Manhood Academy students. Welcome to the Tortilla and Plum podcast. I've had various co-pilots throughout the years, but this is the first time I've just had Tortilla with me today.
Feeling the pressure, guys.
The pressure's on to perform. If you fuck up this podcast, you are booted out of the academy permanently. Is that understood?
What's this 1 strike deal here?
There's 1 strike. And you know how California has a 3-strike law?
Is there any lifelines?
Manhood Academy has no lifelines and half a strike. Even if you start fucking up, it's done. I'm already tearing up your contract. Lifelines. is DBP, he might be on. I don't even know if we should chance it. He could be talking to his girl.
Uh-oh. Yep. Should we give him a ring?
Alright, let me do it. Alright, so I gotta go Skype. Do I just touch his phone number, or do I go add contact number, or do I go contacts?
Just try clicking his name, see what happens.
Okay, I'm gonna click his name. Nothing happened. Alright, I'm going to click plus, the plus sign. What's that say? Add people to the conversation. Okay.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so I'm gonna go.
It's wonderful how they have these symbols figured out.
You wish you could just make it so simple, because they know what you're trying to do, but they fucking make it like rocket science. Okay, that's not the button I wanted. It's this one. Add contact number? Fuck, that's not it. Damn it.
It wasn't add participants?
Where's add participant? You
Right,
must be on a different thing, dude.
The plus sign, right below the hang up, the red phone.
Okay, the red phone.
In between the red phone and the mic. Are you familiar with the mic symbol?
Yeah, but you're probably on a PC, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine is probably looking different. Mine looks like, oh, you know what? Let me do this. I can go, what the fuck is that program called where you look at the little picture of your screen? Okay, I have a Torero call, and then below that, I have a DVP, but he's got just, let me just click the phone icon and see what that does. Okay, so
Am I failing my first test?
Oh, no, it put you on hold, didn't it? Did it put you on hold? It put you on hold, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
God, this thing is such a cocksucker.
Now I hear an echo.
Okay. I'm gonna have to drop off DVP. I just dropped him out. Okay. Guess what? It's just you and me. Hello? Yo, Torero. It's just you and me. Yo.
Yes.
Torero, it's just you and me.
Hey, I hear an echo, man.
I know, I'm gonna call you right back. Hang on a second. Beep, beep. Okay, this podcast is already going swimmingly, as you can tell. Let's try it one more time.
Hello.
Are you there? Tortilla.
Yes.
Fucking Skype is such a culprit. It doesn't behave exactly the way you want it to behave. I could call you and one of the connections would produce an echo, where this time I just called you back. It's fine.
I don't know if culprit's the right word when you say it works when it wants to.
Well,
but let's not go there.
It just doesn't cooperate. Okay. Point is, let's get to it. Okay, so I opened up podcast topics. I'm gonna go grab myself a brew so I can have something to wet my whistle.
Hey, you're being a bad sponsor here. Be a little more considerate.
I hope you entertained people while I was gone.
I said something. I wasn't quiet. I don't know if it was entertaining.
No, this is not an entertainment podcast. This is strictly an educational podcast.
I'm just here to lend my humble opinion.
That's exactly what you're here for. Okay, so let's talk about current events. Why not? We're going to start with we're going to cover Wolf's Post. Actually, I think we covered Wolf's Post.
Yeah.
So we're going to Paperclip's topic next. So I'm going to open that up right now in a separate window. You can follow along with me.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so let's see here. So did it check out my modified post thesaurus? The what? Next time, don't fix the original post, just redo it below. There are two things that work here. I think I'll cover them on the next podcast. Okay, so it must be one of his last posts above. It's gotta be, I recommend you not. Why did I want to talk about this post? Translate a simple concept like Kino. Okay, so this post, I guess, the one above that bingo card I put there, that Kino card.
Yeah, I see it.
That's the post we're going to talk about.
All right.
Okay, so before we talk about that, we're going to talk about some current events. Remember last podcast, I don't know if you were there, where I talked about talking to girls along the way on my way to the store.
Yeah, you were on your bike.
Right. And I said the reason I brought them up wasn't a bragging issue. I was trying to make the point that what was I trying to make the point of? I was trying to make the point that girls, for whatever reason, are going to flake on you. So you need to expect that. You shouldn't be, just because you got a phone number, you shouldn't be going, I've reached the promised land. A phone number is nothing. I mean, you can have a great interaction with a girl and it'll just fizzle out. Not fizzle out, but for whatever reason, girls are very insecure. So if they're removed from that emotional high you just gave them, and then they revert back to their normal perspective, they're being bombarded with all these other dysfunctional social expectations and expectations from society and their friends and peers, and that is much stronger than your just initial one impression.
Right.
Typically. So a good example of that is also that I just messaged and I called, left phone messages, which is my normal thing to always leave a phone message, and then I also texted each of these girls, and surprisingly enough, not surprisingly, no return calls. And
not a single one?
No, actually one girl picked up, but I think she picked up because she didn't know who it was.
So, and then she realized who it was, and she's like, oh, it's you.
Well, she didn't go, oh, it's you, but it was like, hello, so obviously she didn't know who it was, because I think she initially put my name in her phone in the beginning, but for whatever reason, she just thought it was her boss or something, and then, so I kind of sensed, like, at that point, okay, so that's the only reason she picked up, otherwise she wouldn't have picked up.
Alright.
So the other girls, let me think. Actually, the girl I called back, the one that picked up, no, I wouldn't even count that, because we talked about her possibly meeting up. But let me think. The other one, actually, you know what? The Mexican girl picked up, the one that speaks half Spanish, half English. She picked up.
Like in the same sentence, Spanish?
Yes, but she actually hung up in mid-sentence. I don't know if the phone got cut off or she hung up or whatever, because I said something, I don't remember what I said, but I'm not even sure, because just a greeting, and all of a sudden it just hung up, and I was like, I'm going to call her back, and I thought, nah, forget it. I don't care. So I didn't call her back. So I don't even know what happened. So we had like
was it because she's Mexican?
Yeah, I don't date Mexicans. No, I was just thinking about her face and what she looked like, and I was just trying to remember, and I was like, I can't remember if she's even worth calling back. So most likely she wasn't. So I just said forget it. And then the one that had the best chance of happening was the Chili's maid. The Chili's waitress. Because we held hands walking down the street while I was riding my bike. I was holding her hand,
Did
and
you
then
feel butterflies in your stomach?
no, not at all. But the conversation, I was doing most of the talking, and she was talking back, but there was just I didn't feel there was really any chemistry between us. I didn't really sense that she was participating as actively as I would have liked, so I just kind of was like, eh. And the tip-off was when we left, instead of like a good greeting or a good departure, she just said, I gotta get back to work quickly. So that kind of lets me know,
Instead of like, oh, we should hang out,
yeah, just something something just a little more friendly to let you know that you enjoy the interaction versus I just got to go, and no handshake or no hug or nothing like that. So to me, it just says not enough emotional investment. So that was probably the best opportunity because I was holding her hand and riding with her and talking with her, and she's happy up until that point. But again, there's social expectations at work. Like she's always thinking, whenever she's not having a good time, she's thinking, this is a stranger. What if he's going to kill me? What am I doing talking to a complete stranger? So
why is he reaching for the duct tape?
Exactly. So that's always at the back of her mind. That's much stronger than the emotional experience, the one-time emotional experience she's getting from you. So she didn't even return the calls, texts, all was flaked. Today, I was going to the beach with my friend, and by this park that I went by, I saw this chick like running, doing a sprint, like a football sprint, and she was all in like spandex and everything, and I was like, oh, who's that?
She didn't have the parachute behind her?
Yeah, she didn't have the parachute behind her, but she definitely was wearing the spandex.
Nice.
And so I went up to her, I said, oh, you're cute and everything, and da-da-da, and just something real quick. And it was a good initial just response, but I only talked to her for about literally 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, just to get her number very quickly, because I was leaving with my friend. I didn't expect too much of it, but I thought, might as well. But it was a really good initial reaction. And since it was a really good initial reaction, warm, receptive, not just like super crazy awkward from her. So that was like a good sign. But again, like I said, you don't want to invest in these things because it just could be a total flake. So then I just called her up. She said she was, she had to, what was the thing? I think she wanted to prepare for the date because she basically couched it as, I have to wake up early, like at 5 a.m. So I don't have time to hang out right now. And I said, no, we'll just go out for 5 minutes. We'll go get some coffee or something or just hang out real quick. So she's like, okay, but I don't have any makeup on. So that told me she's not really worried about the waking up. It's just that she just wants to be prepared and look good for the date or whatever. So I just said, I gave her my expectation. I basically punished her expectation saying, no, that's silly. You look fine and just come down. I'm in my sweats and let's go. So I just basically gave her my expectation. So again, feeling comfortable leading her. So lo and behold, we end up just going out, just have a great time, walking, holding hands, and we were gone for like, a good half hour or so. Came back, had a little kiss and everything. So it went really well. So that can basically, when we're going out and it works out well and she's interested, she wants to call, she asked me what was I doing and what do we want to do something tomorrow. So that's pretty much a go. That's pretty much a green light. So that could turn into a relationship.
Nice.
So, I found out about this chick. I want to look it up. I think she plays like in the lingerie. She played in the Lingerie Bowl on MTV. She told me to watch it. Let me see. MTV. Oh.
Before I forget, we are recording, right?
Yes, we are recording.
All right.
So no sensitive information, no secret FBI.
No, I'm just making sure because we started calls in the past and then you forgot to record.
Yeah, that's my retarded fault. Yes.
I'd rather ask now than later.
That's a good idea. So I'm looking at MTV Lingerie Bowl clips right now. I'm trying to find out where her picture is. All right, never mind. Forget that. It's not important. So, yeah, I think she mentioned to me she was playing football for some league, and I didn't catch it. She said Lingerie Bowl League, and I just wasn't even paying attention to it. I said, oh, that's cool, whatever. And I just thought she was a cute girl. And then later in the date, for whatever reason, it came up, and I was talking about football and what she does. And I said, well, what if you played football in just your panties? I just out of the blue, I was just thinking about it. So she said, I play football. I said, yeah, but what if you're playing football in your panties? Nothing even thinking about her, what she did. And she says, yeah, but I do that already. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, I remember I told you I played in the lingerie football league. I'm like, oh, and then it clicked because I actually saw, one of those episodes. I was like, oh, wow.
So that's what she was talking about.
That's exactly what she was talking about.
Did you do one of those little forehead slaps? Like,
yeah, exactly. I actually heard about it from, I was listening to some Howard Stern show, and I think Angie Everhart was part of the lingerie football league. She's like one of the models there. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But that was like a while back, so I never thought anything of it after that. So it's called the LFL, the lingerie football league. All right. So again, the difference there was that was a super short interaction, but it was just a good interaction. It was just a nice, quick interaction to get her number initially. And then we went on the date the same day, later on that night. Which is tonight. So it went good. So again, there's no secret one size fits all formula where, you have a great interaction with this girl for an hour and then you call her and the next day it's going to be great. Or like, for instance, this girl, she's got fans around the world. She said she's popular in Mexico and crazy guys are messaging her every day. And I didn't even think about it. And all of a sudden we just had a quick interaction and now we went on a date and now it could go towards dating. So it's not necessarily, the amount of time you initially spend. Yes, it's always in your favor to spend as much time as possible. Like, that's why if you have somebody you're always around constantly, like through another friend, you always see this other person, and you have more time to build a relationship, you don't need to rush things. You don't need to, rush and go, I want to go out with you right now. So you have time to build some attraction up because she's going to see you again. Like if you have a class with her in college or something like that. But these one-time things where you see a girl at a party or on the street or in the store and you just get the number, it's not just a guarantee. There's no lock system out there, regardless of what people will say.
It's not really conclusive.
Yes, so there's no secret formula. It's just you just practice competent social interaction, what you were taught. Just practice the principles. You're going to express your experiences. You're going to lead the interaction to what you want. You're going to get it around to as quickly as possible. I'm interested in you. I like you. I think you're this or that. You affect me this way, and I want to go out with you. That's as quickly as you can get to that point, and then just start talking about your experiences and leading her in the conversation. So you're going to still stick to your principles. Now, regardless if you only talk to her for 5 minutes or an hour, same thing is going to apply. But again, the results may vary. Results may vary. Do not emotionally invest in these girls when you get their number. Because right now, if you've never gotten a number, it's going to seem like the holy grail when you get your first number. But after that, you'll realize girls will even, you could have zero social skills and a girl will just give you her number just to get rid of you because she knows she doesn't have to pick up the phone. So it's not a big deal to get a number. It's really nothing. So you should really treat it that way. You should, even if you have a great interaction, I know the temptation is to go, oh, we were hitting it off so well, I'm going to emotionally invest, I'm falling in love with this girl, and then next thing you know, no text, no call, nothing. It's like you didn't even exist. So don't put your heart into it in the beginning stages when you're just calling a girl and getting her number. Do not consider it life and death. Moving on. Tortilla, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. You want to read this paragraph for me? A couple paragraphs here?
Paper clips?
Yep. Go for it.
All right.
We're on paperclips entry.
I have fallen into a pattern that hasn't gone away from me. I'm able to approach girls during the day, have a conversation with them, and get the number. When speaking to a girl, I give the impression to those around us that I've known her for years. Once I get the number, the attraction I thought I built with the girl disappears. No good? No good?
No, this is fine. This is exactly what I just remembered what this post is about, and we've just been talking about it this podcast and just now.
Alright.
So we perfectly covered. This is exactly the what I wanted to talk about. This is exactly what Paperclip is talking about. Like, he's experiencing right now, he's becoming very good at just talking and conveying his experience and attracting a girl initially, and she seems really into it. So he's emotionally investing in that. He's like getting excited about it. He gets a number. And then it just doesn't work out. Like I said, I just got 5 girls' numbers, and none of them worked out at all. So right now he's in the early stages of social interaction where he's like investing his heart into these things and going, oh, well, this fucking bitch, I'll kill her. Right? So he's kind of experiencing that right now. So just from I'm trying to give him the heads up that this is normal for girls who you meet that are strangers on the street. You have a one-time interaction. These strong social expectations are working against you. So don't take it personally if a girl doesn't call you back. The fact that you're getting a number says a lot. That it says that you have enough. You're attracting her enough. You're doing the right things enough that you're getting this number. So that's a good sign. But again, remember, there's all these social expectations to work against you. That's why you shouldn't necessarily concentrate on just meeting strange women. It's great that you can, and it's convenient if you're just out. You could just talk to a girl. But again, it's better to build social circles with guys and meet women through your social circles or girls you see in class over an extended period of time. You'll have ample opportunity to talk to them repeated amount of times, and that's going to work in your favor towards building up an attraction where she feels comfortable enough to go out with you and answer her phone when you call her. You have like almost a 80% increased chance of a girl talking to you and calling you and going out with you if you have a class with her, and she's attracted and you ask her out. That's almost a definite lock. But versus a girl you just met on the street at one time and you had a super great interaction, like better than this girl you've seen in class repeatedly day after day, that's much less likely to pan out.
Yeah, it's the investment with it. Or they just get comfortable with you.
yes, they get comfortable with you so then they can go, okay, now this isn't a stranger. It surpasses that social frame of, oh, I'm just dating a stranger. You're like a friend now and a buddy. Here's a funny thing. Here's a weird thing. It's not really weird. It's just that here's just to give you an idea of how retarded girls are. Let's say you don't know this girl at all, but her friend introduces you to her. You're like 80% more likely. Why do I use 80%? Well, you're a lot more likely to go out on a date with her. That's like almost a lock that she'll go out on a date with you because her friend introduced you to her, even though you guys know nothing about each other and you're like practically strangers. Versus you just meet a strange girl on the street and have a great hour interaction. You have a better shot going out with a girl who is introduced to you by her friend. Why?
Because that's her friend. She's more likely to transfer some of that comfort to you.
Yes, exactly. So now instead of viewing you through a social frame of you're a stranger, you're dangerous, anything could happen, I don't know, the unknown. Now, since a friend introduced you, oh, it's comfortable, it's okay, you're vouched for.
Yeah, at the same time, when a girl asks, oh, how'd you meet that guy? Like you mentioned earlier, how's she going to feel when she said, oh, he's a stranger.
Oh, yeah,
I just met him on the street.
He's a stranger. I'm so desperate, I just gave him my number. They're going to feel like a total loser. So they have all this social pressure they put on themselves, and it's just this ridiculous, silly game that girls play with themselves where they're trying to, they're worried about getting that validation, getting that approval, that praise from society. So they're always conscious of their reputation, of social things, how things would appear, how they look, regardless of even if they like somebody. For instance, I dated a girl who was like in love with me basically, but because her social expectations were so wrong about dating me, a certain type of person, that pretty much almost overrode the emotional investment she had, where she was literally in love with me, right? So you can see how strong social expectations are with, certain girls.
Right.
So again, this is, I think that pretty much answers his question here.
All right, so we're going on to the next topic?
Yes, next one. So don't take it personally. Keep on trucking, sir. Keep on trucking. Okay. And it's really, it's just a numbers game. Let's say you talk to 20 girls, you're going to go out with one of them. It's just a numbers game. So
Right.
Just don't put your eggs all in one basket. Put your heart in this one basket just because you got this phone number. Okay. Next one is who? It's
LT8.
LT. Okay. This is the nerd speaking. Go ahead and read that. This is lighter than air.
Oh man, I wish we had who was it? High School 101's good speaking. He does them good.
Yeah. Go for
All
it.
right, this is the nerd speaking, and the nerd has had this question since day one. We are to have and enforce expectations. Yes, yes. Among the examples,
I like how now you're gonna have to read it in like his cadence and his strange little grammatical ticks. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, huh? Someone here? Someone answer? Come on.
What? Okay.
Among the example expectations given in many of our expression lists is, for example, I expect women to fear and love my authority. Not bad. Not at all horrible. Men and women loving each other for real. Down home style. That's a good thing. But
Pause.
Only a fraction.
One but period. New paragraph. Pause.
No indentation. Only a fraction of the women one ever comes across are going to love and fear his authority. What appears to logically follow is that we're to go around punishing most women we ever see for not fearing and loving our authority. That can't be correct, but I can't understand it otherwise.
Okay, stop right there. All right, so he's saying we're supposed to get women to love and fear our authority, like a general expectation. But if there's a bitch who you're talking to, she obviously might not love or fear your authority. That's why she's being a bitch to you in the first place. So you're going to punish that girl when you're talking to her. Now to him, it's probably the problem is his idea of punishment is like some severe, like you're going to have to punch her in the face. That's not what it means to go around punishing women. For instance, if I'm talking to a bitch, I'm not going to respect her. I'm going to treat her like I treat a puppy. That's just a bad puppy. So I'm not showing her any respect. I'm not respecting any of her expectations, not going to meet any of her needs. That's what it means when I punish her. So I might ridicule her, I might ignore her, I might, any number of things. And more often than not, I want to avoid ridicule because I want to be active with my punishment. Again, it's talked about in the ebook that there's a difference between passive ignoring and active ignoring.
Right.
So So if there's a girl, let's say I meet a girl just through a friend and she's in a class or something, and she just acts like a bitch to me. She's just, stuck up or just rude, makes insulting comments, condescending remarks like, "Oh my God, you didn't know that." Just where she's a general bitch or something. So I'm gonna handle her just like I would handle anybody else who is not meeting my expectations. I'm going to punish the competing expectation, what she said, and there are various methods already listed in the ebook. You can look them up of how to punish somebody. You might say, stop acting like a bitch, or why are you acting all retarded, or, if you're going to act like that, just leave, because I don't talk to retards, or I don't talk to bitchy people, or I don't talk to rude people, whatever you want to say, in whatever way you're addressing it, according to, the ebook. Again, your goal is to apply pain with this punishment. Your goal is to make it a painful punishment. So, I'm punishing this bitch behavior, which is intended to change that bitch behavior, to expose it, so she realizes it's bitch behavior. The whole idea is to get her to focus on her behavior. Because right now, if she's a bitch, she's not focused on herself, she's focused on me. She's going to always assume that I'm the problem, that nothing is wrong with her. That's what makes her a bitch. But the painful punishment causes her to examine her own behavior. Now, it may just be a one-time interaction. She may never see me again. It may be a girl at a counter where I'm ordering food. But that punishment is designed to open her eyes. Now, whether I encounter her again or not is irrelevant. What matters is I'm getting my expectation met in that interaction. So, it's not always guaranteed. You're not talking every girl you're not falling in love with. But every girl you talk to, you want to recognize your authority and learn to respect you, learn to respect men in general. So that's why you would be punishing any girl who's acting like a bitch or has a bitch attitude. And that's already discussed in the ebook. If you have any questions about what a bitch is, please post them. What we know in general is a bitch is any girl who's trying to usurp male authority, who's trying to exercise authority over you, who's trying to be the guy, who's trying to replace your function. That is what makes her a bitch.
Didn't we already cover this post on one of the podcasts?
I don't know. Somebody's going to read me.
It was a High School 101 that was reading this exact post.
Oh, okay. Then we covered it twice. All right. Skip it. Next. Okay, next one is jar. Oh, jar. Usually I say a note, or I leave a note about covering it. Whoa, I fucking put 1,000 graphics in my reply here. Okay. Do you see anything that says podcast?
Let's see.
Anything I'm going to cover in the next podcast? Jar, when Jar's expression posts.
Not on that page. Let me check the next page. I'm just checking your post. Nope, nothing podcast.
No, you know what? Sometimes I don't say it. I just read it and say, oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's cover his EM report.
All right.
So right at the top, page, was it page 1 that link went to?
Yes.
Okay. I really like your eyes. You know what? I think we covered this, did we? Let me think. Looks familiar. I have an idea. Let's make a bet. Yep, we already covered this. That's an old one. Oh, you know what? We might be caught up to date. Those might be old topics.
Uh-oh.
We definitely covered that. Let me see. The next one is... Let's see. Next one up. This one? Let's see if we covered this one.
I haven't heard this one covered, but I haven't heard the newest podcast, the one you posted today.
Let's go to the top, because I put some new stuff at the top. So let's start from the top and work down now, because we're almost through all these, I think. Okay. So let's start with the top. Oh, this is Treason X. Okay. So I think I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here.
There's 2 replies on this page. 3, actually.
Okay, so we're on page 5, I think, of Treason X's.
The link takes you to page 7.
Does it?
Yeah.
How did I get to page 5? I clicked on it and went to page 5.
You're at the very top of the top podcasting topics?
Yeah, the very top one.
Alright, I'll go to page 5.
Did it go to page 5 for you?
For me, it went to page 7.
Really? Because it says start 40 at the end, right? Start equals 40?
At the end of the link?
Yeah.
No, it says it says P9113.
Oh, you're reading a different link. Look at the very top where it says time to make a plan.
I see the one you're talking about.
Which one are you looking at?
I thought you said we're going to go to the very top.
Oh, there's more. I didn't even see it there. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go that one.
The top one?
Yes, the very top one. Sorry. You're in the right place. Okay.
Oh, that should happen again, man.
Yeah, here we go.
I hate when people think we run a loose ship around here.
I know. So Trey,
There's some expression post here.
Yes, I remember now what the problem was.
Let's decipher the gang signs.
No, let's go back. You got to go back one page and trace expression post. You got to go to page 6. Okay.
All right.
Yes. And go down to the bottom, and I say something to Trey here. I respond like the second to last post. I respond to him.
I see it. I see your response.
Okay, so he's saying, you go ahead and read Trey's part, and I'll respond.
I have not written much in the past couple of weeks. It's all on me for that failure. Partly because of my inability to stick to my loose schedule and not getting my expectations met with the family. I wanted my fam to respect my time, but it seems that my elder brother has issues with listening. Better yet, putting his problems in everybody's ear. Listening to him ramble on about his horrible night. I understand that he a bit of a homophobe. Hell, I can say I am. That by no means is a reason to make everybody else uncomfortable by telling his horror story about work. My older brother had to deal with a worse situation for 5 years. That was a crazy situation he was in.
Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on because it's jumping all over the place. So I'm saying, what the fuck is this nonsense? It sounds like Egyptian hieroglyphics to me. How about you start reading your own work out loud? Your work out loud. So this is what happens when you are crazy with your grammar or crazy with your sentence structure, and it just rambles and goes all over the place, and you're jumping around so quickly that it's hard to follow what's going on. I want you to stop writing and start reading what you write out loud after you're done with it, so you can see what it sounds like to your ears. Now, if he was reading this out loud, not only would he catch the grammar mistakes, but he would also catch, like, it just wouldn't make sense to him. It jumps all over the place. It's hard to follow.
It's gibberish.
That's gibberish. That's the point of reading it out loud. And I told him, I am 5 years old. You need to pretend I'm a little kid. I want you to rewrite this and explain it to me in English. Who the fuck wants to read stuff that they have to continually struggle to figure out? Why don't you draw a fucking decent map so that everybody can follow along the first time around? Okay? Next part.
I am still learning to show my authority in social situations. That girl that I met at the concert was a one-time thing. I met up with her again a couple of weeks later. We had an okay meeting. The date seemed like it was going okay. We did not get any closer than that. It was more stale than just talking. It was totally different than like at the concert. Her whole demeanor changed from being playful and touchy-feely to being reserved and standoffish. I had commented on her attitude, and she basically started to clam up even more. She kept purposely telling things about herself that would turn any guy off. I was in disbelief by her statements. Her talking about how sarcastic she was a major turnoff. I can joke with the best of them, but sarcasm has its place, but not when you just meet up for the first time. I can't put all the blame on her. I was not authoritative enough to stop her negative behavior. Everything I wanted to say, I never did. I was just so shocked at what I was witnessing. How did she do such a 180 from when I met her? Fuck! I couldn't believe I got tricked again.
Okay, because you're a fucking daydreamer not paying attention in class. You keep thinking that chicks are logical like guys, and I keep fucking telling you that chicks are like children, emotional and nonsensical. They react to the authority in charge. So you're trying to convince her, basically. That's the problem. She does not respect your authority. So this is already covered in the ebook too. When you're trying to justify yourself to a child, to somebody who doesn't respect your authority, they're already not going to listen to you. So you're not going to convince them into respecting your authority. You're not going to convince them into fearing your authority. They must be punished. They experience pain. That causes them to fear your authority. If there's no pain and you're just reasoning with them, you're rewarding them. You're rewarding them for bad behavior. By reasoning with them, by justifying yourself to them, you are rewarding them for not fearing your authority. So you're encouraging that behavior. Since you obviously are in charge, you're going to be swerving all over the fucking place with their behavior like a drunk driver. You're swerving all over the place. Okay. You should be able to relate to her. You should be able to relate to her. You are a chick. All you do is react to whoever's in charge. Right now, society's in charge of you. So you react to all the social expectations put upon you. Instead of creating the social expectations, instead of enforcing your expectations, you are busy following the social expectations already in place. It's just like when people say, this is just like chicks, when they go, I can't date a stranger. Well, actually they can, but they're worried about the social expectation of what others will think of them if they're dating a stranger. So this guy is basically doing the same thing. He's thinking, what would society think about this and that? I can't do this and that. So you're busy being a victim of the social expectations instead of saying, oh, guess what? I'm making a new social expectation. The Trey social expectation. You don't practice initiating here, and suddenly you think you're just going to magically fucking start building your authority in a confident manner without any practice. Fucking daydreamer. So I'm basically saying, you're not practicing posting here. You're not practicing talking to other students here. You're not practicing, posting your EM reports and building relationships with other students. This is the time to practice getting your expectations met with other students. That means you need to form a relationship. And when you're forming relationships with other dysfunctional people, there's bound to be conflict. And that is a perfect opportunity for you to learn how to give the other person incentive, number one, to want to meet your expectations, and then how to punish people, how to enforce your expectations. But you're not doing any of that here at the academy. So all of a sudden you just think you're going to graduate and start with a girl and go, oh, I know how to wield my authority over this girl, even though I have zero practice with anybody else. How's that going to happen?
Let me just turn my authority on.
I'll just turn my authority button on. No, not going to happen. That's why we say practice. There's no realization without the practice. And without the realization, there's no change in behavior. Torero.
Next paragraph?
No.
Yes.
Practice or training, either one. Practice or training equals what?
Equals better results.
Equals realization.
Oh. And ask me one more time.
Practice or training equals
realization.
Realization equals
competence.
No. Change in behavior.
Change in behavior. All
realization equals what?
Change in behavior.
Okay, so let's start over. This should be common sense now. You think about it, okay? If you train or you practice, whatever you want to call it, you practice equals what?
Realizations.
You get a realization from doing something over and over and over again. Ah, the light bulb clicks. That's why. That's the way it works. I get it now. And then realization equals?
Change in behavior.
Yes, your behavior changes when you see the world a different way. How your worldview, your perspective shapes how you do things. Your attitude, how you behave. When your worldview changes, your behavior changes along with it.
Very true.
Okay, next.
Mainly by myself. I know attraction can be a bitch, but why can't I control or better yet, let my impulses go? I am at fault for my own inability to be authoritative.
Practice? Question mark. EM reports? Question mark. Following directions? Question mark. Nope, nope, and nope. I'd say the answer is pretty fucking clear to me. I just wish it was clear to you.
I got much work to do, and at the end of all this, she just wants to be friends. I don't want that shit, and I let her know what the deal was. I was truthful and forward from the moment I met her, and now she acts as if that is not an option. Not with me. Been in too many relationships with women that end in that scenario. I'm not going there anymore.
Not one single chick I've ever dated has ended in the let's just be friends speech category. You want to know why, nigga? Because why? I don't get into lesbian relationships. You know what a lesbian relationship is? Two chicks. Girls want to be friends with other chicks. What does that tell you, Torero?
It tells me they like to be around their own dysfunctional behavior.
No.
They don't wanna...
If they say they keep giving this guy the let's be just friends speech.
Oh, they're not attracted to him.
Yes. What does it mean when I say girls want to be friends with other chicks? What does that tell you?
They don't really respect them. I mean,
no. Girls want to be friends with who? Other chicks.
Yeah.
So if he's getting the let's be friends speech, what does that tell him?
He's not being man enough.
No.
Damn it.
If girls want to be friends with who?
Other chicks.
So what does that tell you about him when he gets the let's be friends speech?
He's acting like a chick.
There you go. Simple math, right? He's a chick. No authority. He's a chick. So she wants to be friends with him, not lovers with him. She wants to be lovers with a guy who's in charge. With a guy who's just just very passive. You're gonna get the let's just be friends. You don't turn me on. Essentially saying you don't turn me on. You're like a good buddy. You're like another chick to me.
All right, next.
Yep.
If I'm not hitting it, then there's no reason for us to know each other. No authority, no ass, no expectations, no ass, no balls, no ass. I cannot get that through my damn head. Damn it, I'm just fucking mad at myself today. I feel like I need to vent. I cannot lose my cool at work when she decides to text me.
Black Boy's going crazy. He's going to shoot up the place. Okay, keep going.
Boy. I am not letting anybody control how we communicate. Fuck that. I don't like being a control freak.
Control freak? You should pray that one day you grow the fucking balls to learn how to control a woman. How the fuck can you be a control freak when you don't even know how to control a woman? He's worried about being a control freak. This is like a lot of guys, they think if they punish somebody, they're too controlling. Oh, I'm that controlling boyfriend.
That's just social expectations,
Yes,
right?
that's just a dysfunctional social expectation talking.
All right, let's see.
When a parent is in charge of a child, they are a quote-quote control freak. It means they have control over their child. That is a good thing. To demonize it as being a freak, like it's a bad thing to be in control, is to misunderstand what it means to be in control. It's a good thing to be in control. Especially if you're a guy. It's a good thing for you to be in control of a relationship, to be in control of a woman. Relationships will not work if you are not in control. So don't demonize it as being a control freak, like that's a bad thing.
All right, next. Hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, hello there. I only want to make sure I'm not getting screwed from the...
You're such a questioning guy.
Right?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I only want to make sure I'm not getting screwed from those closest to me, which happens anyway. Fam, friends, all those other people that don't give a flying fuck about me want. I'm not letting my own faults take me out of the direction I'm wanting to move forward. It's all a part of the learning process. Failure is a part of the learning process.
In order to fail forward, you first have to move in a direction. Failure by stagnation accomplishes nothing. What am I telling him?
He's not really moving, he's just complaining.
Yes, he's not doing anything. What is he not doing? What does he want to do, first of all?
He wants to be with that girl.
What does he want to do with his behavior?
He wants to change it.
So what does he need to do to change it?
Practice more?
Nope. What does he need to change his behavior?
See, this is where I could use a lifeline.
Well, it starts with an R.
Gain realizations?
Yes. He needs
that's
a
right,
realization.
Yes, we went over this equation.
Yes. So what does he want to do?
To get realizations, he wants to practice.
No, what does he want to do?
He wants to change his behavior.
So what does he need to do to change his behavior?
Gain realizations by training and practicing.
Yes. Just say realization. He needs a realization to change his behavior. So what does he want to do?
He wants to change his behavior.
How is he going to change his behavior?
Realizations.
He needs a realization. Okay? So, how does he get that realization?
By training and practicing.
Yes. Has he been doing that?
No.
So is his behavior or is he going to get that realization?
No.
So is his behavior going to change?
No.
Any other questions? Sweet. Okay, next.
Alright, but the knowledge won't become wisdom if no experience is gained. I need to do more. Won't let this stop me from going out and socializing. But damn, she was fine.
She was fine. That's a fine-ass bitch.
Oh well, on to the next.
On to the next hunt. On to the next friendship. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Plum, I still can't figure out how to split this atom in the last post. I gotta give you something later, it's kicking my ass.
You know how to split an atom? I'll give you a hint. Not by fucking staring at it. So what am I telling him?
You gotta do something about it.
Yes, you actually have to practice. This is where I said split the atom, okay? If we scroll up a little bit to kind of halfway up the middle, where I quoted him, and it says, I should have read the book on how to write better before I posted this entry.
Let's see. I see where you quoted him in your post.
Okay, so then I said there are no optional sections in the ebook. If it was optional, we would include it. We wouldn't include it. This improved entry is a good start, much better than the last piece of embarrassing crap. Now rewrite it again and make it even better. This means you're going to have to learn how to split the atom. I'm going to give you an example of how to split it.
Yeah, I remember reading this.
Yes, here's an atom. An atom is just unsplit. It says, I like peanuts. They are good. Is that a valid sentiment, Torero?
It's just relating information.
Is that a valid sentiment, Tortilla?
Oh yeah, peanuts are delicious.
I like peanuts. They are good. Is that a valid sentiment?
Yes.
Does that tell you a lot about me?
No.
Do you get to enter into my experience of peanuts?
Not at all.
Not at all. Just information, conveying information to you. Now we try to split this atom up. What am I trying to get at when I say split the atom? I'm using this analogy. Split an atom. Am I talking about a physics lab? What am I talking about?
I'm talking about getting to the nitty gritty, using more expression. Let's rewind that one more time.
Yeah, let's try that again. What am I talking about when I'm using an analogy of splitting the atom? What does that mean?
You're relating your experience better.
How am I relating my experience better?
By letting people know what you felt, what it reminds you of.
Well, didn't I just say I like peanuts? They are good. Didn't I feel they were good?
Yeah, but you're not really saying much. You're just saying you like peanuts. They're good. You're not telling us
So
why
what's the
they're good,
difference?
why you like peanuts.
Okay, so what does that mean when I tell you why I like peanuts? What the peanuts like? What are they reminding me of? What am I going through? What is that called? It's not called expression. I like peanuts, they are good. Is that an expression? I like peanuts, they are good?
No, that's just information.
That is you expressing information. That's still expression. I like peanuts, they are good. That's me expressing a thought. What's the difference?
It's a complete atom. It's not split.
Yes. But there's something, it's a D word I'm trying to get to.
It's not descriptive?
No. D-E-E. No, D-E-G. D-E-G-R.
I'd like to, wait, go ahead. I'm not, D-E-G-R?
E. D-E-G.
I can't solve the puzzle.
R-E-E.
Wait, D-E-G-R-E-E-E?
No. D-E-G-R-E-E.
Oh, it's not expressing it's not expressing to what degree you like it.
Yes, we're not finding out what specific degree your experience is. What is the degree of your experience? For instance, to say something is good is very vague. It's very general. What does good mean? Well, if it was delicious, or if it was nutritious, or if I like the color, you're seeing different degrees of what I think good means. You're seeing degrees of my experience. Right? You're seeing the various temperatures of my experience, if you want to put it in that type of degrees. But in other words, you're seeing every little angle, every little aspect, every facet of my experience, like a diamond. You're looking at a diamond, but it's got all these little faces on it that sparkle. You're looking at different faces, different aspects of it, different facets of my experience, different degrees of experience. Tortilla. Yeah. What does it mean to split the atom?
You're relating to what degree you like things.
Yes. Okay, so splitting the atom. Peanuts are baseball to me. Whenever I see them, I think of the floor of Dodger Stadium littered with peanut shells. I think of the seventh inning stretch. I don't care about the game. I just like going out with my friend Jacob and buying a bag of peanuts and making comments about the players. Baseball was never about baseball for me. It's always been about peanuts. And my best friend Jacob watching people and talking about the up and down ocean motion of our lives, sitting in $4 plastic chairs and having that comfortable feather bed because they hold the sum of all our friends. What? Feather bed friendship? The $4 plastic chairs that feel more comfortable than a feather bed because they hold the sum of our friendship. We are bros with peanuts and memories that other people have not shared. In fact, I don't even like peanuts outside of Dodger Stadium. They lose their real flavor once I leave the parking lot. At home, they end up tasting bittersweet because I only think about the plastic chairs I'm not sitting in and the friend I'm not talking to and the meaningful words I'm no longer saying. Sad face.
I'm suddenly attracted to you.
Why?
That was just great expression. The details, why you like things, how you convey your friendship.
Right, so what am I really conveying? Am I conveying information about peanuts? What am I really conveying?
Oh, you're conveying more about your person, not just...
I'm conveying my person to you. Great expression.
Peanuts was just the vehicle.
Yes, that is just the vehicle. Good expression conveys you to the other person. If the other person doesn't know who you are, your expression is stunted. I cannot see any degree of your expression, so I can't see you. The peanuts, the games, the events you go to, the shared experiences you have, the music you listen to, these are all vehicles just to convey you to other people. That's all they are. They're just pretenses. They're little excuses. They're in the way. The idea is to use that pretense, that excuse to convey you. So anything you're talking about is an opportunity to convey you, how you react to things. That's what people are attracted to. That's why the second paragraph I read was much more attractive once I split that atom and you saw all the various aspects of me in that split atom. Make sense?
Lots of sense.
So I said, put on your lab coat, blah, 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 start the splitting process. Okay, so go back down to the bottom. And Trey completely ignores me. Doesn't acknowledge what I said and just goes on with his life like nothing, like business as usual. So what did Trey just do?
Just, say he ignored you. He didn't even respond to it. Oh,
yeah,
that was
what
a
is
good
that?
post.
Let's speak about it in terms of the ebook. What did he just do?
He punished you.
Yes. So what happened? What did he do to me? I should say, what happened on my side?
You don't feel like, responding to him anymore.
But why?
Because he didn't approve or he didn't Yeah, he didn't respond to you opening up.
What's on the table at all times?
Expectations?
Yes. That should not be a question mark. You should be telling me that with a period. What's on the table at all times?
Expectations.
What are conversations about?
Expectations.
What is social interaction about?
Expectations.
Yes. Getting your expectations met. So never forget expectations. It's always on the table. So what happened here?
He just ignored you.
What does that mean?
He punished you.
What does that mean on my side?
You have no incentive to...
No, what happened? What are we talking about?
Oh, he didn't meet your expectation.
Yes, he did not meet my expectation. Keep this very simple. Expectations are everything in social interaction. He didn't meet my expectation. So what do I need to do if I'm being competent with my social interactions?
You need to punish him.
Yes. So we go to the next page. He posted another paragraph or whatever, and I deleted that, and in place of his little paragraph, what did I put?
You're talking about the next page 7?
Page 7. Top of page 7.
Oh, you just put a picture of graffiti.
Yes. Why did I do that?
Punish him.
Yes, to let him know. I just tagged his post. I put graffiti all over it.
Let him know who the boss is.
Yes, I'm boss dog. I said, that's here. You want to ignore me? Here, I'm just going to graffiti all of your posts. Now all your posts are gone.
Checked.
Consider yourself checked, Trey. The point is, we're trying to teach you how to form a relationship, not with just the instructor, with everybody here. So that means you have to interact with them. You have to learn how to give me incentive, how to learn how to enforce your expectations. And right now you're violating my expectations. I expect students to respond to me. If I'm giving them advice or talking to them or asking them questions, etc., I expect them to acknowledge that, to respond back to me. That lets me know you're respecting my expectations. You're respecting my authority. You're fearing my authority when you respond to me. When you just brush me off and you don't say anything, you could very well have taken that to heart, but you don't say anything back in return. How do I know? There's no response, so you're violating my expectation. My expectation is that if I say something to you, I want you to respond to me, especially since I'm the instructor. More so that I'm the instructor, right? I can get that you might want to ignore a student, but definitely don't ignore an instructor. I'm teaching you how to socialize. So you need to learn how to start responding and initiating conversations with other students and responding to those who are responding to you. I'm taking the time to respond to your entry. I want you to respond back, especially if I'm giving you advice, good advice. I want you to respond back. When you just ignore me and you just go on and post like I wasn't there, it just hurts my feelings, Trey. I get crushed inside. And then that makes me want to graffiti on your post. Makes me want to post graffiti of DWP 35, WS 602.
Department of Water and Power, bitches.
DWP, what's DWP? Department of Water and Power?
Yeah.
Department of Water and Power, what's up? So this is a graffiti I tagged in place of his post. And of course, Trey didn't say anything.
He still hasn't responded to that EM report by the Big L.
Yes, so I posted another tag on here. And it's NWO, spray painting the back of some loser. So I posted a little wrestling clip. I love the NWO. They beat dudes up and then they take a spray paint can and spray paint NWO on their back.
Fucking ruthless.
Ruthless. A ruthless fake gang. Love it. Okay, so that was basically my experience with Trey. Trey's coming along. Slowly but surely.
Nice little end note. To cap it off.
To cap it off, that's what's going on.
Jerry Springer's final thought.
Oh, okay. I need to take a break. We've gone an hour. Any departing thoughts? Any questions, concerns? Anything you want to talk about? Anything on your mind, Tortilla?
I got nothing, actually. I mean, I'm always more of a good listener. Just nothing. No, I got nothing. Sorry. I have failed.
Can you kill another 5 minutes just saying nothing? Okay. Well,
I like string.
As always, it's been an entertaining podcast. This has been a first time for Tortilla and the Plum together. It was rocky and rough, but I always like hearing from Tortilla. He's got a great sense of humor, enjoyable student to have here at Manhood Academy, and a great resource. So, guys, pay attention. Again, parting words, start talking to your fellow students. Start practicing, exercising your authority here at the Academy. This is the ground zero of learning social interaction, so take advantage of it. Many of you aren't using this resource, this valuable resource right here. And I'm starting to see a lot of students who are. I see you. Nothing makes me happier than to see a student post and to see other students posting on their posts. That is awesome. That is what I want to see. So for Tortilla and Plum,
Good night, bitches.
Nighty night.